Hi everyone, I'm Tami Ray. I'm a regional vice president and independent consultant with Arvon, and I just wanted to share a little bit about my experience with the 30 Days to Healthy Living plan in hopes that maybe you'll hear a few key points that could help you in your own journey. So my story begins in 2002 when I was 27 and working as a nurse. I was a vegetarian all my life and a runner. I thought I was so healthy. And then I got clobbered with a diagnosis of breast cancer. And it's so interesting because my mom was actually diagnosed with breast cancer when she was 28 and she died when she was 30. I was 2 years old when she died, so I don't have any memory of my mom. Um, but it just felt like history was repeating itself. So here I am. I went through bilateral mastectomy and reconstruction and 6 months of chemo. And of course, we did all of the extensive genetic testing, and it came back negative. And my doctor looked at me and said, "It's negative, okay?" And in my head, I'm thinking, what? How is this okay? If there isn't a genetic component, then what in my environment is causing me to grow a breast tumor at the age of 27? This makes no sense. And what I found is that actually only 5 to 10% of cancer diagnoses are genetic, and 41% are from environmental causes. And some of the most toxic exposures that we have occur in our very own home just by the things that we're using on a daily basis. And this really struck a nerve in me because I know there's so much that we can't control, but I couldn't control what I was putting on my body as far as personal care products. And I also learned that what you put on your skin absorbs into your bloodstream without going through a detoxifying organ first. And I'm a nurse and I had never heard that before. And when I really stopped to consider, it makes sense because we use medicine patches, right, for a delivery system. But I just never thought that lotion had the same effect, or deodorant, or shampoo, or your cosmetics that you're putting on over and over every day. And so I was on a hunt to find safe products, and that's when Arvon found me in 2003. And I just fell in love with the philosophy of pure, safe, and beneficial. I learned right away that Arvon has this amazing reputation and it's a company with integrity. And so I switched over and started purchasing my personal care products through Arvon. So after going through chemo, you're left with some wreckage to pick up, and some of my wreckage was high levels of mercury, so toxic in fact that I was warned not to get pregnant at any cost. And I started going to an integrative physician in 2008 to help with the mercury levels, and we also found that I was critically and chronically low in all of these nutrients like potassium, sodium, chloride, magnesium, you name it, protein, thyroid, everything I was low in. And so I was just taking a counter full of supplements from the doctor's office. I was giving myself vitamin B12 shots, going in for vitamin IVs, along with the Arvon supplements. And yet, every time I went in to get my labs drawn, my doctor would say the same thing. He would shake his head, put his hand in his head, and say, "Tami, how are you functioning?" And I just felt, man, like I'm trying so hard. And it was just like over and over, like Groundhog Day. I would go in, he would shake his head, I'd take another counter full of supplements, and we were sort of, in that kind of rhythm, just trying to grasp at anything to make a difference. During that time, my sister was also diagnosed with breast cancer. That was in 2009. And of course, it was just like the rug is pulled out from under you, someone that you care about so much. And we rallied around her. I just assumed that she would go through what I went through and she would be done with it, and then we would pick up the pieces together. But it just didn't go that way. Her experience was so different. It was just a runaway train. The cancer kept growing back and we couldn't get ahead of it. And she passed away in 2012 at the age of 42. Just this vibrant, funny school teacher, child at heart. Everyone loved her. She could just make anyone laugh and get along with anybody. And I miss her every day. She, growing up without a mom, she was my shepherd in life. And I still get that urge to just call her and talk to her. So after Sheila passed away, we actually found out that we grew up outside of a nuclear weapons facility. And of course, that caught my attention. We didn't know that this plant, it was called Rocky Flats, um, and it was owned by Dow Chemical. We didn't know, and most residents around that area didn't know that it was actually making the plutonium triggers, which is the heart of the atomic bomb. And plutonium is radioactive, and a grain of rice-sized amount of plutonium ingested is fatal. And because of safety code violations at this plant, the plutonium was leaking into the groundwater, and there were explosions at the plant. And when plutonium ignites, it's as though an atomic bomb has detonated. So all of that was going into the air. And I learned that the largest explosion on record actually occurred when my mom was pregnant with Sheila. So I took all of this information into my doctor. He thought it was just a normal day. And then I come walking in and I said, hey, can I be tested for plutonium? And he said, whoa, let me figure this out. And I actually got tested and was positive for plutonium, cadmium, beryllium, uranium, all these things that have to do with nuclear waste, along with high levels of mercury, unable to absorb nutrients. And I tell you, if you've ever felt overwhelmed or defeated or exhausted from your health journey and you just don't know what else to do, that's where I was at. I just wanted to curl up in a ball and say, oh, I'm done. And the most concerning part was knowing that I had plutonium in my body, because it would be emitting radiation from the inside out. And so that's just another potential cancer sentence. And I knew we had to figure this out. So we started heavy duty chelation at the doctor's office, which is the big guns, and it's used to help pull heavy metals out of your system. And he was hoping that it would pull the plutonium out of my body too. But what ended up happening is it was making my kidneys shut down. So we had to pull the plug on that plan. And in 2013, we were back to the drawing board. And what's so interesting now that I look back is that in the middle of all this uncertainty, there was a plan in place, because in 2013 is when the clean eating, healthy living plan came out. And so I embraced it and decided I'm doing this. And I brought it all into Dr. Ng's office and I said, this is what I'm doing. And he said, great, go for it. He didn't really have any other recommendations at that time. And I had been vegetarian all my life, but I had never gone off soy. I didn't know soy wasn't good for you. I had never gone completely off dairy or gluten or sugar or corn or what's the other one? Coffee. So those are things that I decided to take out of my body to decrease the inflammation. And once you heal your gut and heal your insides, you're able to absorb better. So I started this plan, and after 2 months, you guys, all of my labs improved. So think about it. After 5 years of taking all of these supplements and getting my labs drawn and nothing was helping, 2 months on this plan made all the difference. So if you're sitting there thinking, I don't know, it sounds hard. No, it's not hard. The hard part is not knowing what's going on with your body. The easy part is helping your body get to its most optimal state and just giving it what it needs to function at its best. So the other significant thing is I asked Dr. Ng if there was any way to measure, what was being pulled using the 7-day body cleanse. And so we sent, pardon everyone, we sent a stool sample to the lab and the results came back to Dr. Ng, and he called me on a Sunday and he was just screaming into the phone. He's like, Tami, you're never going to believe this. This cleanse is pulling byproducts of plutonium, of mercury, lead, arsenic. Oh my goodness. I had a whole list, a graph chart of everything that was being pulled with this cleanse. And so I knew we were onto something. And what happens is if you're ingesting, absorbing chemicals and toxins that cannot be converted as energy in your body, they're stored as a toxin in your deep tissues. And so with this 7-day cleanse, it's actually going to pull those heavy metals, pesticides, whatever we've been exposed to, and we all have been exposed to something. It's going to pull those chemicals and toxins out of your deep tissues, put them back in your bloodstream so that you can eliminate them for good. During that time when they're still floating around in your bloodstream, you're going to feel headachy, a little bit tired, a little bit run down, and that's normal. That's actually a sign that it's working. So don't back off, push through. That's a really good thing because it's hitting this reset button for your body. Once you're done with the 7-day cleanse, you just wake up with clarity and you have so much energy. This cleanse actually crosses the blood-brain barrier. I think this is extraordinary. And so many people say to me, well, I'll just get the cleanse then. Well, you can, but for me, I had been using this 7-day cleanse for 5 years and I still had plutonium in my system. So what made the difference? Coupling the clean eating program with the cleanse and with the Arban supplements. So going off dairy, sugar, gluten, soy, alcohol, coffee, corn, all of those is going to make a huge, huge, huge difference in your health, and it's worth it. So after 8 months on this plan, you guys, I went in and got tested again, and my doctor said these words to me: no plutonium detected, no mercury, no more nutrient deficiencies. We got the green light to start trying for a family, which had never been on the table before. And my goodness, not only has it changed my quality of life today, it's changed my whole future. And if you think about it, you guys, had I never been tested for any of this, I would have had the same outcome just by embracing this plan. It is powerful. It's changing lives. So as far as this business, I've been around Arbonne for a long time, and the business has tapped me on the shoulder a long time, and I knew I wanted to do something with it someday. But after my sister passed away, it just hit me that, you know what? This has been placed in my life for a reason, and this could be my way to honor my sister's life and honor my mother's life with my own, and just paying it forward and making a difference in the lives of others. And so I encourage you and invite you to take a look at Arbonne and see if it could be a fit for you. The benefits that you're going to receive from doing this plan are so worth it. And you're in a community of support, you're supported, you're not alone. And I love that too. And I just think that, we're not made to live small lives. We're not made to suffer through our life. We're not made to just merely survive. You're worth it. Your life is worth it. You're deserving. You are worthy of stepping into your greatness and then making a difference in the lives of others. And I know there are no coincidences and that you were meant to hear this information, and now what you do with it is up to you. But I just want you to know I'm sending out so much love to you and just cheering you on in your own health journey. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me.